And I said, "Who the hell do you think you are? You know who you're dealing with?" Sir, it's time to record another Heroes Analysis video. Oh, right, just give me one sec. Alright, ladies, you gotta go. Those ladies have some very peculiar laughs, sir. Tell me about it. Don't ever let them back in. As you wish, sir. Now here's your script. Thanks, Doc. Oh, we're doing a fellow hero this time. This should be fun. Have you ever wanted to know literally everything there is about an anime character, from their backstory all the way up to where they are today? If so, then you've come to the right place. I'm Just the Hero, and welcome to a Hero's Analysis. In these videos, we go through a character's appearance, personality, history, and abilities. At first glance, it can seem like a basic character explained video, but at the very end of the video, we power scale the character in question using what I named the Hero Scale. As you can see, we have multiple different threat levels from urban all the way up to limitless. For a little bit more of an explanation, you could check out my first Heroes Analysis video. Now, let's dive into everything we know about Cathleen Bate, also known as Hero Star and Stripe. Star and Stripe first made her appearance in chapter 328 of My Hero Academia, discounting the silhouette we got in 303. She had blonde hair and blue eyes, and though never specified, she appeared to be quite tall with a strong muscular build. Too strong, if you ask me. She has long blonde hair that's styled similar to that of All Might. Her hero costume is a tight bodysuit equipped with shoulder pads, gauntlets, boots, and a cape. The touch of gold added to the suit makes it easy for her to catch the attention of her enemies. Not that she needs it when she's that massive. Her costume boasts the colors of the flag of the world's greatest military force, the United States of America. Star and Stripe has a very brash personality considering how she immediately went out to Japan to help the fight against All for One. Despite the United Nations not reaching a decision on international hero aid, she has also shown loyalty and camaraderie towards her allies, as seen when she referred to her squadron members as brothers. If you haven't already noticed by the way I've been referring to her as was, spoiler alert, Big Blondie's dead. And since dead men tell no tales, I'm here to share the story of Cathleen Bate, all the way up to her untimely demise. One day, as a young girl, Cathleen was attacked by a runaway villain while being in the car with her family. Having seen no heroes around, she quickly panicked. As she slowly slipped into despair at the looming threat, she had made one wish, which was for at least her little sister to be saved. Then, suddenly, a hulking man with blonde hair appeared in front of her. Ever since then, the young girl has been enamored by this man and his 2 long strands of hair. So much that as she grew older, she dyed her hair blonde and changed her hairstyle into 8 long strands to symbolize that she would be an even greater symbol of peace than he was. After some years, she eventually achieved the status of #1 hero of America. And as the #1 hero, it was her job to stop anything that may threaten the lives of the people. As we already know, she eventually came over to Japan to stop All for One, who had become a threat to the entire world. When she first arrived and encountered what appeared to be Shigaraki Tomura, she seemed quite ignorant, not knowing if the villain appearing before her was All for One or not. But shortly after, she casted the questions aside, saying that it did not matter who he is or what tricks he had up his sleeve because she was the strongest. Kind of ironic. You know what? We're not gonna go there. Thus began the clash between Star and All for One Shigaraki. This battle was intense, with Shigaraki never letting up. No matter what Star hit him with, he bounced back up. Even a nuke that caused a crater in the earth wouldn't be enough to put him out. In a desperate attempt to finish off the seemingly invincible threat, an ally of Star called out to her. Shigaraki had been standing on an aircraft, so the squadron member piloting it cried out to Star and told her that this was her opportunity to kill Shigaraki by crushing him alive. But Star couldn't bring herself to do it. As he desperately cried out for her to take action, she had a quick flashback of memories and moments she shared with her squadron members, or her brothers I should say. In that split second, Shigaraki had grabbed Star's face, ready to finish her off with his decay, seemingly concluding the fight. Or so we thought. Oh sir, I think you should tell them about her abilities before you continue. Oh right, of course, a quirk. I completely forgot. I guess it's about time I told you about Star and Stripe's quirk and abilities. Her quirk is called New Order. Using this quirk, Star can set a minimum of 2 rules, allowing her to manipulate and grant new properties onto herself and the world around her. In order for her to activate this quirk, she must have physical contact with her desired target, and must also call out their name while explaining the rules she wishes to impose. Using the quirk, Star can give herself additional abilities and also manipulate the condition of her opponent's body, with there seemingly being no limit to this manipulation. But there is a limit on how much she can increase an individual's power, so she cannot give herself limitless strength. She can also use her quirk on inanimate things such as air or laser beams, as seen when she was holding a beam of light. I also forgot to mention that in order for her quirk to work, the target must identify themselves with the name she calls them by. If a living target was in a state of identity crisis, then the quirk would not affect them, but in the case of an inanimate object, which had no sense of identity, Star and Stripe could have a one-sided perception of the target, and that would be enough. Star has used her powers in a few different ways. Using one of the 2 rules she can impose, Star usually kept herself in a constant state of enhanced physical ability. This meant increased strength, speed, agility, reflexes, etc., which while not being at the level of All Mights were still a force to be reckoned with. Now that we finally got her abilities out the way, let's finally see how this hero met her demise. Continuing where I had left off, Shigaraki had grabbed Star's face ready to end her life, but that was when Star had placed a rule on herself, stating that Cathleen Bate will not decay. Though affected, this ability did not fully stop the decay, but instead stalled it. Tomura hadn't killed her but had successfully used All for One to steal Star's quirk. Shigaraki began to laugh, calling Star a fool for not taking the opportunity that was presented in front of her. But standing before him inside the quirk of All for One lied Star and Stripes herself. Before her quirk was fully taken, she had given the New Order quirk one final command, and that was to revolt against the other quirks within All for One. I'm not gonna lie, this fight had me shook. Sir, please read until the end. Yeah, I know. As Shigaraki screamed in agony, Star would slowly look back at her life as she decayed, thinking back to her brothers, and lastly, her inspiration, All Might. Her final thoughts were, because he had saved me, I was able to experience a wonderful dream. With one final salute, the heroes Star and Stripe perished. She stuck by what was true to her until the very end. A true hero, indeed. Doc, tissues, quick? Right, sir. On a higher note, it's finally time for the hero scale. To explain again, on this scale we power scale the character in question by overall threat level using the chart you see here. We mostly scale on destructive capabilities, but Hack's abilities are always a tricky one. To make it easier to scale, I'll only be scaling what we've seen Star and Stripe do and leave headcanon and speculation out of this, just to make it as simple as possible. Now, if Star and Stripe were still alive, where would she land on our scale? Quickly refreshing what we discussed, Star and Stripe has the ability to put simply bend reality. She had used 3 named attacks in her battle against Shigaraki Tomura. Her first move, dubbed Fist Pump to Earth, is a move where she uses the air around her to create a giant construct several times larger than herself. Just off of the size alone, it is quite obvious that at the very least, this has the destructive capabilities to tear down a city, which would make it a high urban level attack, almost even nuclear. Her second move is called Kuranus, if I'm pronouncing that right. She uses the move by grabbing the lasers her squadron shot at her, and then collecting them, turning them into a giant sword. Assuming the lasers Star grabbed were made of photons, the fact that Star and Stripe was able to issue a rule within the time frame the laser had reached her is quite impressive. To further back my assumption that the lasers were light beams, there's a panel where Shigaraki states that he is using reflection plus refraction to reflect the beam back at Star. All of this concludes that Star has what seems to be light speed reflexes when buffed by the New Order quirk. Moving down to her final move, titled State-of-the-Art Hypersonic Intercontinental Cruise Punch, a move where Star and Stripe grabs the Tiamat missiles, which are easily tectonic level, using her giant air self. Then she uses New Order to command the missiles to change trajectory, allowing her to swing them around and unleash a giant air punch that releases a supermassive explosion. We've seen that the shockwave created a crater in the ocean and split the skies, but this wasn't done with the power of New Order alone. Taking that into account, it is to my assumption that Star felt the need to rely on Tiamat, a tectonic level missile, because she lacks the destructive capabilities of that level and cannot produce something of that scale on her own. To sum it up, in pure reflexes, she's light speed. In destructive capability, she lies somewhere in the nuclear range, and in durability, we hadn't seen much since she was mostly dodging. So, in conclusion, I think it's safe to say that from what we've seen from Star and Stripe, we can safely put her in the nuclear tier right under Tectonic on the hero scale. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, comment, subscribe for more Heroes analysis videos. I'll keep doing my best to improve these videos as I go. As always people, have an awesome day. Just the hero, out.